Hello, this is Keith. How is everyone? I'm going to show you how I manage pullouts for communication with staff and students. Um, to start with, so what do you need for pullouts? You need a roster of kids and their groups and titles for those groups, and you need a calendar of when those groups are going to meet. So what I did was I created a Google spreadsheet. I really like working in Google spreadsheets because they're very easy to copy and paste cells. Simply by clicking on cells and dragging, just like you would with Excel, but for some reason it's much cleaner in Google. So that's why we're here. The other reason we're here is because it's very easy to share. And so this needs to be shared with your band teacher, orchestra teacher, your GT teacher, and possibly special education, because those are all people that would potentially have pullouts of classes. So like any other Google Doc, I've created this on the private side, and then through File, Share, I've shared it with specific people. Now, I share it with the whole school so that everyone in the school knows what kids are in what groups. So theoretically, they could plan ahead because they have access to not only this roster, but a quarter's worth of the schedule. So you can see there's lots of people here that can view, but the main people that can edit are Matt, Shelley, and Shelley. Okay? The reason being is that they will all populate these sectional groups. And so they've named them all. I've asked them to name them with letters. And we've done this for the 2 years now in the same way. So it's been very consistent. Bands are there. Orchestras are here. Again, named with letters. And then the GT seminars typically have their own names that are not necessarily letters. Okay, so there's our rosters, kept up to date by the people that are giving the sectionals or offering the sectionals. What I do is I keep the master here, and then I make tabs on the bottom for each day of the week. You'll see later that this is where I do my builds for each day. I copy and paste these cells eventually and put them into Aspen and schedule them to pop up on the days that we need them. I used to put all these in Aspen and change them there, and I don't store anything ahead in Aspen anymore for the most part because sometimes Aspen goes down and they all get wiped. So if they're kept here, they're safe. I can do it daily or I can do a week's worth, but I have the originals here. So I just pull off the main roster once I figure out what the schedule is, and I copy that group, Command C, and I put it what period it needs to go. Simple as that. Okay, so that's the rosters. Then comes the calendar. I created a calendar in Google. My calendars are here. The arrow to the right allows me to create a new calendar. I'm going to show you the one I've already created. So these are all the calendars I've created. I have one called Pullouts. Click on that calendar and go to share this calendar. It tells me who I've shared it with. So I've specifically shared it with Matt, Shelley, and Shelley to make changes to events. They're the only ones who can make changes to the events besides me. I have some other people that can see them. Go back to calendar details, back to calendar. And so what I've simply done here is created an event, right? Just like you would any kind of event in your calendar. And I've created 7 of them for each day. And then for that day, if I go to edit, you'll see I just have it repeat weekly on weekdays. And that allows me to just do it for the whole year. I have it looking like this. And then what I do is I send out an email. I have all the people responsible for pullouts. We agreed when we first set this up that 2 weeks before the beginning of each quarter, they would populate the calendar. And so, if we go back, they're going to be dimmed because they've already happened, but you can see what it ends up looking like. This is by the week. Okay? Now, because I print these out for the staff, I want to be able to fit as much as I can on each page, and that's why you see some days where they've been taken out. So I've taken these out because they were empty. So after Shelley, and Matt populated for this quarter, I went through each day and I just deleted the events that had nothing on them. Now you'll notice that each day where there are pullouts, there's a naming convention, and so that was agreed upon by everyone involved to make things very simple and easy for whoever's doing what I did and just in general. So band is always listed as BA, and then um, a dash, and then the letter representing the pullout group. Same with orchestra, OR dash and the letter of the pullout group. GT, it's usually GT dash or a space, and then the letter or the written out club name. This makes it look better and easier to read on the screen for the kids, and it keeps everything organized. And so typically when they populated this calendar, band would go first and put in their dates, and then orchestra would go second, and then GT would go third. GT tends to have more changes because their program is flexed more, if you will, and then of course the seminars change throughout the year. So it's easiest to keep them third, because if the changes happen, you just have to change the end notation there. And so that's how the calendar and the schedule works, and that's how it gets into Aspen. The ticker, all I do with the ticker, let me explain what the ticker is first, and then I'll show you how I populate it. Get to a month that's got some live stuff on here. So here's Friday. Sorry about that. Okay, and the ticker is simply a Google presentation. It is published on the web, and anything in Google can be published on the web, a spreadsheet, a document, or a presentation, and that just means you're really making it public. And if you go to File and Publish to the web, you get this. Now see, it says stop publishing because this one's currently being published to the web, and that just means that it makes the content viewable by anyone who has the published link, but will not change the document sharing settings. The reason you have to publish to the web for this particular presentation is simply because when you want to play it as a presentation like this, go into play mode, in order to get it to loop, keep playing around and around and around like we want the ticker to do, it has to be published. It won't go through and start over again if it's not published for whatever reason. So it doesn't really matter that you know that. The point is that this is, you set it to be published so that it can do that. And then you also share with anyone that you want to be able to edit it. So in this case, Karen Leaf, Shelley Stout, Tina Bernard, anyone in the front office or anyone else that, without putting too many people on here, you notice there's not that many people on here, that need to have access to edit this. Those edits take place automatically, and then on the computer in the filming studio, the TV studio, that computer is just a web browser that has that link open, and it's just playing. It just plays in a loop. We keep that web browser refreshed so that any changes that are made throughout the day are reflected on that laptop, and therefore reflected on the TV screens. So really, any internet connection has access to this presentation with editing rights can change this. So I could change this from home, and it should change the screens in the school. You just add slides like you would any other presentation by going into Insert or Slide, a new slide, or Duplicate slide. We've kept the black background because it seems to have the best contrast. I also have this is on the public side, by the way. It has to be the public side, the ticker, because we are sharing outside the building to the server, the server beyond Howard County, so it has to be on the public side. I also keep a ticket master slides. This presentation isn't published, but it's what I use to pull from for master slides that I want to keep. So this is storage for the ticker, if you will. So there are some slides here that we used for a Green Field Day, and then other slides. I sometimes would keep backup of the ticker slides for pullouts. Now I just do it every day, but those slides are there if you want to do it that way. And then all the different types of schedules that I've built to match the Moodle are stored here. And so what's nice about presentations in Google is that if you want to pull a slide from any other presentation that I own, I can simply go to Insert, Import Slide, Now this is bringing up all the different presentations I have, one of which is Ticker Master Slides. I can select that, it'll open it up, and I can pull in the individual slides from that presentation into this one. So if I have to change it for a 2-hour early dismissal, I just select that one, I import the slide, and it'll put it right in my presentation, and then I would get rid of the regular schedule for that day and then switch it back the next day. For the pullout, I simply change the date. We got the 9th coming up here, so I put the right date in. This is just a picture, so I select it and delete the old one. I go to my calendar. We want to get to June 9th. I can delete all those, but I'm not going to worry about it. Command ++ makes it a little bit bigger. I kind of scoot the side in here. I'm a perfectionist. And control and slide with my 2 fingers. Shift Apple 4. I take a quick shot of this. This seems to be the easiest way, believe it or not. I used to actually type it into the slide, but it's easier to do this way. I've got it on my desktop because I just took a picture of it, and simply go to my slide. I can drag it on there, but I'm used to just doing this insert picture, finding my screenshots, and mine is usually the last one, and putting it in. So that seems to be easier. I used to set up a grid on the actual slide, but it got a little bit wonky, and it's easier to change things this way. And that's how I populate the ticker. All right, best of luck.